Hi and welcome to Tabletop Gaming, the home of cool things like this. Look, these are magazines that come out every single month to talk about the coolest in tabletop. But welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Charlie and I'm the online editor, and today we are opening this suspiciously placed box here. Now that's because there is plenty inside to get excited about. It is a box full of games from the OP or the OP, and I'm really excited to see what they've sent us, so let's do that. Now, board game deliveries are the greatest thing, but this one I'm particularly excited about because I know that it's going to contain a lot of games, if you can still see me from the back there. So, let's see what we've got. All right, I moved the box because it was in the way. Now we just have this obtrusive thing to deal with, but let's take a look. Okay, so first of all, we have Hues and Clues. So I have wanted to give this game a try for a while, partially because I saw a really great TikTok trend about a really cool way to almost like homebrew the game. So the game itself, let's have a look. So this is Hues and Clues, and you use certain clues to sort of bring people to a certain palette. So if you were to go for a blue, you might say sky blue, and then it's up to, with this huge multicoloured thing, your fellow players to go, okay, well I think this is a sky blue, and then they pop their little counter on what they believe you've defined it as. Now of course there's tons of different ways to play it in terms of whether you give longer clues or shorter clues or one word clues or things like that. But I saw a hack on TikTok that was playing with Disney references. So instead of having purple and saying something like, in our case, Cadbury's, you might say Ursula instead, or something along those lines that sort of really defines it down as much as you can, but with Disney characters. And I just really liked the sort of trivia come specific nature that you'd have to go down. And yeah, it sounded like a really fun idea. So, having never played this, I'd really like to do a video on it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you like Hues and Clues? Let me know. It feels like one of those classic ones that's always been around and I've never played it. But there's plenty, so we're not going to delay too much. Next we have... Can you tell I was thinking in a Disney mood when we looked at these? Smash Up, the Disney edition. Now, there are plenty of different Smash Ups. I have yet to play one. This is something the OP do quite well, as they do different franchises and different brandings and different games. And Smash Up, I believe, is one of them. Although perhaps a little bit more sort of on the family style of games than necessarily the hobby games, but there is, of course, an overlap. I think this one could be good fun. If I just show you the back of it, we've got some interesting, it's all the artwork is obviously very, very clearly Disney, but it's also slightly changed. So I'm intrigued by that. Our Elsa looks slightly different, our Mulan looks slightly different. I wonder if that's something to do with licensing, whether they just didn't have the license to the original images. Who knows? Alright, next up is Ven. Now, in all honesty, this hadn't come across my radar at all. I think it's relatively new, or at least I'm not aware of it in the meantime, like I haven't seen it out and about. But this one gave me sort of almost Mysterium vibes in the descriptions that it offers. So if I just show you the back there so you've got an idea. So it's a clever game where clues and art overlap, but the line that made me think about it, can you communicate wing, galaxy and animal using only abstract images? So you're trying then, so if they give the example, you've got your wing there and you've put a picture of a bird down. So it's less abstract than Mysterium, which is notoriously incredibly abstract. But I quite like the idea of making a game out of that side of things, of trying to match up one with the other. And I really hope it works. So we're gonna give that a play, see how that goes. Next up is Blank Slate, another one that didn't come across my radar, but I think would be good in sort of a party-ish situation where you've got a big group of friends around and you want something easy to learn. It strikes me as being like almost the opposite of Just One, where you're trying not to work out what everyone has guessed, and also sort of almost the same sort of vibe of Her Mentality, where you're trying to work out what people are going to put. But Blank Slate is a game where minds think alike, is what their tagline says. If I just show you the back of it though, what it's going to do is it's going to give you a prompt, so it's going to have something in the middle that it's going to miss. So let's look at what one of their examples are. So in this case it's something house, and you'll need to write down what you think the word precedes house is, in the hope that it matches what your fellow players have put, but you can't discuss with them, you can't tell them what you're going to put. But the difference is you've got full house, dog house, brick house, haunted house, playhouse, other ones given as examples on the back, and you're trying to match. Pretty easy, pretty quick to pick up. I imagine there should be some good fun in it. We'll see how it goes. There's still more. So we also have in this box Munchkin Disney. Now, Munchkin is one of those games that comes in a ton of different flavours. There's normal Munchkin, but then there's Munchkin in basically every variety you can think of. So this is the Disney version. So your characters, your actions are themed based on sort of what card you're playing, or a better way of describing is that your card artwork and actions are different. They're now Disney themed. So you have we have the Evil Queen, we have Mulan's armor, we have the Queen of Hearts, and some cool little extras. Like our heroine card is Moana in this case. So you get +2 to combat bonus if you have a card in play with a princess pictured on it. I like that. Now there is a case to be had that Munchkin games are much for muchness. If you love the concept and want to have loads of different ones, it's a really good one to go with. It is really good fun to play though, I have to admit. I don't know that I'd go for it all the time, I don't know that I'd collect all of them, but there's a lot of fun to be had when you actually sit and play through. And speaking of different flavours, this is the Critical Role flavour. So this is based on the Mighty Nine campaign. You'll see that really funky artwork on the front, and then if we flip it over, you'll see again that those cards have changed and now they're themed based on the Critical Role. So they've got Gelladon the Nightmare in Ivory, Pocket Bacon, and what have we got? We've got Jester, one of the characters. I'm asking you to open your heart to chaos. When you're in combat, you may discard 3 cards from your hand to change the value of 1 bonus or 1 monster modifier from positive to negative or vice versa. So plenty of ways to cause chaos, plenty of ways to find out the flavour you want to play in. Now we're nearly done, thank you for hanging in. We have got one of their newest games in the form of an expansion and the base game for it, so we can get our teeth into it and work out if it's any good and if the expansion's any good. And that is Sorcerers Arena. Now this is one of those things that I actually got quite excited about because I felt like different parts of my life were overlapping. It's like when you see a really good conversion from like a book into a Netflix series or something like that, and you're like, oh, I love this, so I should love this. This is a mobile game, so it is a silly little game that I have been playing for, frankly, far too long, and this is the tabletop version of it. Now there's a lot of like, it's one of those little mini fighting games. You level up your characters and then you take them into battle, and then you try and gain more stuff to then upgrade your characters to fight more battles. It's one of those style ones. Now what they've done is they've swapped it into a tabletop game, which makes it more of like almost skirmish game isn't the right term, but let's move our character here, and you know what, we're going to fight, and we've got cards that are going to help us to do so. So this is under Epic Alliances. If I just show you up front what we're looking at, you've got your different characters there. Most of those are the ones that you start the mobile game with. And then this is the sort of thing you're expecting. So we'll see these standees, we have a row at the bottom of the characters that you can get and the cards that you'll use. Now it'll be interesting to see. I'm quite fascinated as to how much of it they've brought over and how much of it they just took the flavour from. So I'm really intrigued because each one you tend to have sort of about 3 attacks when they're levelled up far enough. One of them usually incredibly basic, one of them quite decent but might hit a range of characters, and one that is particularly powerful, but obviously you only get to use them every so many actions. So I wonder how that will translate into the cards. And the whole thing about the mobile game is being able to collect a ton of characters. Like they introduce new characters at least every month, usually every 2 weeks. So you're constantly seeing new characters come in. Now this has got 8 characters. I wonder if their logic is we'll do more expansions with more characters available, because as I say the word expansions, I have the expansion. Last of that massive box is the Turning the Tide expansion. So much smaller box, as you can see, but what are we looking at inside? So it looks like you're going to get 3 additional characters to play with. You have Moana, Davy Jones and Stitch. Davy Jones, if ever you play the mobile game, is really one to keep because he's very powerful. So it was literally as I expected it. It's just more characters to add into your base game, which is quite good to be fair, because it means you can really build the game out and have quite an epic amount available to you. Obviously because you won't be sort of keeping a roster of every character character, I presume you'll pick ones to play with at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, don't know. But this gives you the extra one. So Moana, Davy Jones and Stitch with some themed characters. So we have Drag Below as one of the options for cards for Davy Jones. And interestingly, these include Ocean Arena tiles as well. So if I just show you that back again, you can see the differences that are there. So the new standees, the new characters, and what card options you've got as well. And then in the middle there, I think it says about the ocean tiles. So interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out, both because I think it's got the opportunity to be a fun game, because I like the characters, and because I want to see how it goes on that mobile app too. And aside from quite a long loading screen, look, and there's my daily rewards and things that I get every day. And do I do it every day? Pretty much! But you can see there's plenty to do there. It's your typical sort of game. You get a huge roster of different characters that you can play with. So these are all the kind of options that the OP has potential to add in, and they're just the ones that I've got. Look, it just keeps going. So there's plenty of opportunity here. I'm quite excited about it. I hope they've done it well, but time will tell and we'll find. So there you have it. It's clear to say that I've got plenty to do for the next little while. I'm going to be kept very amused. There's plenty to play here, and I should be the most popular person at the party with these because they're all in the nice, quite light spectrum, quite easy to pick up and good fun. Now the ones that verge sort of maybe a little bit deeper, you're looking at the Munchkin games. Not that they're particularly deep at all, but they're perhaps a little bit more than just a party game, if you know what I mean. They're ones where you have to actually think about what you're doing a little bit more and think in advance of what you're doing, and I have no idea on the weight of Sorcerers Arena as yet. Now I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which ones would you be most excited to try? Have you tried some of these? If you play Munchkin, what is it that's the best flavour? And if you have played Sorcerers Arena already, tell me which character is the best to start with, because I love a good advantage. With that, I will say thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the rest of our channel. We've got plenty of videos like this. We love our board games here, so also check out the magazine. We do cool things on our website like advent calendars. We've got a massive event coming up. There's plenty to see and to enjoy, and I'm super excited for you to do it. Head to tabletopgaming.co.uk or through the link in the description. Have a great day, guys, and see you soon.